First, though, anyone who's ever visited this morning's studio will know that just the other side of that wall there, that view, is the Good Morning Britain set. What is a little unusual, though, it has just snuck past 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if we go to that studio, two of the presenters are still there earning overtime this morning.
Looking so official with the paper shuffle. Richard and Susanna, come on through. Come and join us on our sofa because there is some celebrating to be done.
Yes.
Come on in here.
We need to say happy birthday. Come and join us. This week, Good Morning Britain marks 10 years since we started waking up the nation.
And whether you've been watching since Ben and Susanna said Good Morning Britain for the first time on day one, or, like Richard, you've joined the party a little bit later on, you'll know that top-quality reporting on the decade's biggest news stories has also been accompanied with plenty of laughs.
Good morning, Britain. Welcome to our new show. I'm Susanna Reid, and we're here with you through to 8:30 this morning.
What?
They think that Jesus might actually be a 15, 16-year-old and walked on that island.
Breaking news here on Good Morning Britain.
Tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come around.
Take my pen.
What is the secret of living so long and so well?
Plenty of sex and now sex.
Have a slug. Go on, I dare.
I look absolutely like that episode, you know, the one where
a lot of people were helpfully tweeting that.
Let's get straight to it.
I need a hero!
Mr. Johnson, while you have 5 minutes, your life on Good Morning. Why did you talk to Piers and Susanna for me?
I'll be with you in a second.
Yeah.
interview terminated because you won't answer the questions.
Thanks for watching. Back tomorrow. Have a great day.
And Susanna and Richard are here. Come on in.
Here they come! Good morning!
Come and sit down. Come and join us.
Good
No, sorry, Ben, I'm
morning.
going to sit there. This is my gig.
Hello. I normally wave as we go past. Hello, how are you? Are you look well? Nice to see you too.
Have a seat, have a seat, have a seat.
I recognise you from somewhere.
It was the grim and distant past. That's how quickly you forget.
Oh, it was 10 years ago, Ben.
10 years.
Isn't that remarkable? And you said to me just as we were about to launch, enjoy this moment because you never get a second chance to launch a programme for the first time.
It was an amazing moment. Do you think you enjoyed it? I'm not sure if that...
I was going to say, do you remember it?
I remember it vividly, and watching these back now.
I don't look like I'm enjoying it. I think we were so full of apprehension and responsibility because it was, you know, to launch a new programme. Yeah.
Big deal.
It's quite a thing, isn't
Big
it?
responsibility as well to come and sort of do that big relaunch on a breakfast show, and the way we did it and how we were doing it as well. There was a sort of a lot riding. I mean, you've done it.
Well, we're sitting next to the expert who launched this show. Isn't this weird? Yeah, it's weird, no? Does it
How are you
not feel a
finding
bit...
it? How are you finding it?
Loving it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
It's
loving
great, isn't
it. It's a very different tone, a very different rhythm, very different feel.
Very different time of the morning.
Most importantly, very different time of the morning.
What is it like having a lie-in every morning?
It's sensational. I sat and had a cup of coffee with Annie before I came to work this morning. I had you guys on thinking, I'm so glad I'm not there.
I bet.
So what times do you get up? Like, what's the morning routine?
After you.
3:40, first alarm goes off. 3:45.
You turn them off, though, don't you?
Second alarm goes off, and then 3:50 out of bed and on it. What about you?
Mine is set at... I've got 3 alarms. I set them up for 4:01, 1 minute past 4, because psychologically I can say to myself, I'm not getting up in the middle of the night. I'm getting up early in the morning. But I have 3 because I'm paranoid about sleeping through. And I have a ritual. I set them 3 times the night before. And Judy says to me, what do you know it's set. What do you do? I said, I have to do this.
You do?
Otherwise I don't sleep.
I used to wake up in the night and double-check that I'd set my alarm. But I also had an alarm on the other side of the room.
So I have that too.
I had to get out of bed to turn it off.
Very smart.
And if I didn't, then I'd get a kick.
Have either of you ever slept through? You actually missed your call?
I didn't. Ramvi's the only person I know that did sleep through and turned up about 6:30. We were on air. And she loves it when I remind her of that as well.
So you've named and shamed.
Well,
that would
we
be
named and shamed her on air as
terrifying.
well. The closest you've come to sleep missing a call, have you ever done one?
I've always managed to be there. Yeah.
Come on, you know Susanna, she does not make mistakes.
No.
Oh, hold on, but it's live TV. So has anything ever really happened where it's been
like a
I
big...
got kicked in the head.
Oh, you
I saw
did?
that by Ed Balls.
Balls. Of course, we were doing a story about airline seats. Should you put your feet up on the seat in front of you? And as you can see, the evidence shows, no, you shouldn't, because he managed to kick me in the back of the head with the hard heel of his shoe.
That really hurt, didn't it?
It really genuinely did, although he very kindly sent me flowers afterwards.
That was very sweet. But
The-
you did get whacked
Yeah,
there, though.
I did get whacked, but all forgiven. I'm still intact. Although I remember the other moment where something went wrong, which was when I asked a question to Dan Stevens, the actor from Downton Abbey, asking him how he got the part
Yes, you
in
did
his
that
new film.
in a slightly different phrase, though, didn't it?
Yes.
You phrased it.
Yes. I don't know if people saw that in the highlights VT or whether you had to edit that out.
That one didn't make the highlights VT.
No.
It made the highlights more or less across the world, though.
Yes.
Really?
Exactly.
Yeah, the Great British Beat-Off, I think, was how Dan
Yeah,
put it.
yeah.
And even in America, he still gets asked about it now,
That's
Richard.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Being on TV
We
with
giggled.
us.
We
Yeah,
giggled.
I think my moment was the fake tan. moment.
Yes.
It was the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me on live television. Basically, I don't wake up really till I get to work.
Yeah.
So I went down to the kitchen that morning, having got up. It's 4:10. I'd been on holiday, my skin was dry, so I reached into the kitchen cabinet where I knew I kept the moisturiser, slapped on some moisturiser. I thought, it smells a bit funny, a bit coconutty. Oh, well, never mind. When I got to work, I'd put on my daughter's fake tan.
Definitely Chloe's fake tan, isn't it?
Definitely
Yeah,
Chloe's fake
definitely,
tan,
yeah, definitely.
But, of course, it takes a while for fake tan to start working, so makeup didn't see anything, you know. I get made up, we start the show, and after about 7 o'clock... look at it. About 7 o'clock, the director said, Richard, have you put anything on your face this morning? I said, well, no. And it just got worse. I mean, there's no stopping it. It got worse and worse and worse, and honestly, I was so dark, and the viewers were in
Loving it.
hysterics. They're loving it. It was so embarrassing.
We always have had, and one of the things that I've always loved about my time there was the joy and the fun that we had. But, of course, we covered some extraordinarily important moments as well, Susanna. In the last 10 years, every sort of major political moment, sort of wars, the Queen's death, sadly, the coronation.
Yeah.
And there's some incredible sort of privilege about being there at that time and reporting on those things.
I know, and a real sense of occasion as well, because we were at Westminster Abbey, of course, for the Queen's funeral and for the King's coronation. And you do feel in those moments, they're part of history, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's when you think, wow, we get the opportunity to report what we're seeing to the viewers at home who can't be here at that moment. And it's quite
It's a
incredible.
cliche, but it's true. It's like you're part of the national conversation in the morning, because a lot of the things that we're talking about and waking up to, so are people at home. And you feel like you're all talking together. And obviously you get the messages on Twitter and stuff. And it does feel like a proper conversation, you know.
Yeah. There's a certain level of responsibility that comes with it as well, I think, and about getting it right in that moment.
100%,
Get
yeah.
the tone right.
Intimacy as well. I think that's always the thing that struck me when you're doing breakfast, even shifting till 10 o'clock where we are now. Our viewers have sort of gone about the first part of their morning and then they're coming back for a cup of tea or whatever they're doing. But when it's the first thing in the morning, people are waking up with you in bed. The amount of people that would stop me in the street going, oh, I was naked when I saw you today, Ben.
Well, I remember
That wasn't a
interviewing...
viewer.
I remember interviewing James Bond Roger Moore and saying, it's lovely to meet you. And he said, what do you mean, Susanna? I will wake up in bed with you every morning.
But the reality of that is you suddenly realise the first thing that goes on in the morning, we are the first people that they hear the news from. We're the first people that they're so often hearing, sharing what's going on, whether it's Laura with the weather, whether it's us with the news, whatever. And there's a sort of an intimacy to that, Richard, which is really sort of palpable.
That's why you're talking about getting the facts right, and obviously, and particularly on a news or rolling news show, that's critical. But you use the T word, tone. It's tone that's so important on programme, particularly when you're dealing with very delicate stuff, you know. And you do have to sometimes sit back in a commercial break and think, OK, how are we going to quite approach this? What tone are we going to adopt here? Because it's got to be real, it's got to be genuine, but you have to think about it.
And it's also the gear changes as well. I mean, you could be on the red carpet with Tom Cruise pouring him a cup of tea.
Yes.
How was that, by the way?
That was the best selfie I've ever got.
An amazing selfie.
Incredible, yeah. Thank you very much indeed, Tom.
And you gave him the GMB mug as well.
Was he a nice chap?
And a GMB flask of tea. I mean... And he didn't go, what on earth is this? He very happily drank.
No expense.
And we all know tea from a flask is not quite as good.
Is it Builder tea as well?
Oh, I don't mind Builder tea.
Yes.
Oh, I love a cup of Builder tea.
But...
Yeah, but from a flask.
Yeah.
But he was perfectly gracious about it, which was lovely. But you're right, then you have to gear change, don't you? Come back into the programme, we've done some devastating breaking news stories as well.
And that's life, though, isn't it? I think the thing that I've been reminded of, and I saw that brilliant article that you did in the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Was the quote that was that Good Morning Britain was going to be axed by Christmas.
Cancelled by Christmas. You haven't, by any chance, got the front, the page 3?
Rub it in.
OK, so this is framed in my dressing room. Good Morning Britain faces axe after a month. You probably can see we have censored the other photograph on page 3 of The Sun from 10 years ago because for younger viewers, yes, page 3 of The Sun used to have a topless model on it.
Yeah.
But the reason that this from 10 years ago is framed in my dressing room is because only one of those two things got cancelled. And it wasn't Good Morning Britain. Page 3 of The Sun no longer has a topless model on it.
The interesting thing about this is I remember this happening and thinking, yes, we've made it, we're on page 3.
Well, I've got 2 stories about that. That happened to us when Judy and I launched in 1988. We launched this programme. I mean, they didn't want it to work, you know? They just... Because it makes a better story if the programme crashes and burns.
Yep.
So I'd say every 2 or 3 weeks we'd see a headline like that. You know, sort of Mr and Mrs Married, they call us. Mr and Mrs Married, cheesy couple, you know, to get chopped by Christmas. And, you know, here you are. How many years later? 35, 36 years later?
Yeah.
And the other thing about getting negative publicity, which is actually quite fun, we road tested Viagra live on the programme.
Yes,
we got 3 couples. All 3 blokes had slight erectile issues, and they all took a Viagra. And we sent them off to a hotel around the corner, and they came back 2 hours later and told us what had happened. Exactly. We asked what had come up, basically, and they told us. On the Daily Mail, the next page of the Daily Mail the next day, it was this the tawdriest 2 hours in British television history? We went, yes. Results.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a real pride for us, isn't there, sitting here and hosting this show. You gave me a really lovely note as well, Richard, that you left in my dressing room, which was really special, and I will keep that forever because that was really amazing. There's real pride with that and for launching the show with you, Susanna, all those 10 years ago, but also where the show's come to. And what the next 10 years look like as well. I wonder what you think about when you think where we were, where we are, and where we're going to be.
Well, I don't think it's going to be cancelled by Christmas.
No.
I think we're pretty well established now. Yeah.
Well, look, it's been a real treat to have you come in.
Oh, it's a treat to be here.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on everything you're achieving.
Yeah, can I just say, as an ex-presenter here, and, you know, there have been ups and downs on this programme over the decades since we've had... I think you two are brilliant on it. And I'm not just saying that. I think it's a really good feel to the show. It's really found its own.
We're enjoying it immensely.
Lovely time.
And we've even come dressed on brand as well. This is what they've done.
We sat down over there and we're like, oh no.
We've come as the logo and as the set. We've come up in this morning teal.
You look very at home. Gorgeous.
Well done.
Thank
you, guys.
Thank you for staying as well.
Yeah.
No,
now I know what's the other side of it.
I didn't realise you were actually this close. I thought we were exaggerating, but yeah,
we've broken the third
Phil's
wall.
going to be cooking later as well, so there's plenty of food.
That's what drew you over, wasn't it? Yeah.
Cheesecake.